Hello and welcome to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Pro Bowl West is where we're hanging for the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship. Good afternoon. Van McNeil alongside PBA50 Tour member, PBA60 Tour member once again, Mr. Tom Carter.
Nice to be here.
It is nice to have you here, but I'm sure you would rather be out there.
I'd have rather been bowling out there. I got to check, but I'm tickled to death with the way that my knees felt. But yeah, it would have been a lot more fun to be out there. But it's what it is.
Absolutely. So we bring another season to an end here with a pretty exciting top five here in our Stepladder final.
Yeah, starting out with Hugh Miller, our only left-hander. Kind of like last week, we had Parker was the only left-hander.
Right.
And now we got Hugh Miller, who went undefeated in this round of match play to get to the show. So that's he might have a little trick up his sleeve to go all the way up the ladder. We'll have to see about that. He's bowling Charlie Tapp, who Charlie hasn't bowled all year, but talking to him, he's done some lessons, changed some things. He was in the leaderboard all week. I'm kind of excited to see him back out here. It's going to be fun.
That will be our opening match between Hugh Miller and Mr. Tapp, but some new faces here.
Well, yeah. In third, we've got Darryl Bower, who hasn't been on the show forever, you know, but he's won out here. Shot 300 in Game 5 to get back to the lead, and he led most of qualifying. But unfortunately, in the position round, he ran through some transition problems, shot 167, and dropped to third. So hopefully he's got the lanes figured out. But then he's meeting Kenny Parks, who is in second, and he made the show down in North Carolina. Unfortunately, got beat by Norm Duke. So he's got a little bit of a grudge thing to try to work out for himself. And we got a brand new face.
There's the newbie that we're talking about.
Yeah, Dave Axon. He's not new to us, but he's made a lot of top fives. He's a fantastic player, but he's new out here on the show, rather. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking for him, I think, going for his first PBA title, getting a PBA60 title.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be a fantastic show.
And let's get things underway here, Mr. Carter. Yeah, Axon going for his first national title. And we begin here with the Hugh Miller Charlie Tapp match. 43 feet of oil in the PBA60 Chameleon.
21 mils, longer pattern, lighter volume. Played a little trickier than a lot of us expected. Most of us are used to using the Kegel rule of thumb of minus 31. We'd be break point around 12. But we used logic on this pattern, and it actually played farther to the right. It actually played up around 5, so it kind of caught some of us a little off guard there in the beginning. Charlie Tapp's opening shot playing right up 5-6, where he played the whole week.
With the 10 pin, and you were out here bowling on it, and
missed by 5 pins.
Yeah, missed the cut by 5, and that's got to sting.
Well, I'm just tickled to death to be out here and compete in this last stop, because I didn't think I was going to be able to. I might have to withdraw because my right knee, the one I had operated on, was just giving me fits. But I'm so bullheaded, I just taped it up and took more drugs and actually threw the last 6 to get a check.
Yeah, you were throwing it really well.
So I was pretty happy about that.
Good stuff. I gotta ask, as
totally unexpected from Charlie, but you know, he hasn't been on the show for a while, you know, and he hasn't been out here for a while.
Right,
so
could be the nerves.
Could be a little bit of nerves. He wants to do fantastic. He's throwing a phase 2, a pin up, actually kind of a stack drilling, nothing really fancy, but that's what he's used all week. And I'm surprised he actually kind of used that as his spare ball. He's seen that hook away from the shot.
Again, those nerves here. Hasn't been in this situation in quite some time, but definitely fought to get here.
You know, he made a few changes. We bowled on this pattern the day before the tournament started on the regional pattern, and he struggled a little bit on that pattern, but we used a different oil. And boy, if you don't think same pattern, same volume, different oils, if that doesn't change the shot, I got news for you. And
it does. Big time. The littlest changes could make the biggest difference.
The oil that we used Connect in the regional, and it's a little slicker, and the ball's just skated a lot farther. You couldn't really get the ball to read the back end. And on the pattern we have this week on this with Logic, balls came off the pattern strong.
Hugh Miller, high flush, able to trip out the 8. Hugh had a battle here to get the 5th spot.
Well, going undefeated is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And he's always, he kind of sneaks up, and you never really pay attention that Hugh's there, and all of a sudden, boom, here he is. You know,
here I am.
You know, and he bowled phenomenal all day today. He's using the code red with the pin up, mass really tight to the thumb. Used it all day. Kind of ironic. He's got a haywire down there that he's using for a spare ball, which is normally a pretty aggressive ball. Yeah, he shined it up, and he's using that. There it is. He's using the haywire pinned down for a spare ball.
Ooh.
But, you know, since they redone the lanes for the show, the back ends are fresh. They haven't got that carry down that they've had for the whole day.
Right.
And so the back ends are going to be a little bit crisper. And maybe they blanked out and forgot about that.
We're pretty consistent here. Sean and our maintenance crew.
Sean does a great job.
Yeah.
Charlie's got to be 6'6". Tall, lanky, long swing. Pretty fluid for a tall guy. Yeah.
You look at him and you look at a guy like Kenny Parks, a couple of towering gentlemen right
there.
there.
Yeah, you know, Kenny's got to be 6'8". He's 6'6". There must have been a height requirement for the show. That's why I didn't make it.
Charlie Tapp, a 3-time PBA Tour champion in his 12-year career.
I think in his other life, Charlie always tells jokes. He wanted to be a comedian. We had him for a Hall of Fame one time. And normally in Hall of Fames, the guys always talk about their career a little bit. Charlie talked about 30 seconds about his career. Then it went into a stand-up comedy routine, which was awesome.
Of course, the head bowling coach at Aquinas College, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Also a sales rep. 2 PBA regional titles, 1 PBA60 regional title.
Charlie doesn't bowl that much. He works a lot, and then he's coaching. And so it takes up a lot of time. He's not out here as much as he would like to be. But, you know, when you're a champion, you never lose that fire. Obviously, you can see that. The guy wants to win again. He hasn't been out forever. He's changed his span. He's changed some of his pitches in the ball. He's actually taken some lessons, trying to work on using his left arm, leading with it a little bit. So he's gone through some major changes to come out to compete one more time.
It just goes to show that it's never too late to get out here. And that's the nice thing about the PBA60 and the PBA60. Continues to give you a chance to be competitive.
Well, and that's the big thing. All of us, we just want to bowl.
Right.
We just want to bowl. You know, and a lot of people go, well, we need to cut down the games, or how do you bowl that many games? We have a lot of controversy on the tournament committee about that, and just people in general. And if you talk to any of us, we want more games. We'd rather this was 2 6-game blocks of qualifying for this tournament.
Right, and you were saying,
as far as we're concerned, the players, we would love to have 2 8-game blocks.
Right, because that's how it was back in the day.
Right, and actually the senior tour, when it first originated, I'm told I wasn't out here, even though some people think I'm extremely old, was 9 games of qualifying blocks.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah. So this is, and we have some of the older guys, believe it, which are 70, want to go back to the 9 games.
Hey, and that's what they came up with. So that's, you know, back in the day, nobody likes change.
And John Weber always keeps saying, well, you guys, look at you. Your knees are shot. This guy's arm hurts, and you guys want more games? What's wrong with you guys? We just love to bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hugh Miller converting a spare with a haywire, which is kind of unique. Pin down, hold down, which you would think would hook
and
out of his hand.
Polished.
And polished. And he's using it for a spare ball. But
I guess to each his own. It's out of your typical train of thought, though.
It is. Some people like to see even their spare ball hook a little bit on the back end because they just feel more comfortable when they see some motion on the back end. Not a lot. Sometimes people get, and out here they even sand their plastic balls so the ball would pick up just a little bit because it's so easy because there's so much oil on the lane for the ball to just float to the right or the left and not even pick up a roll.
But if you add a little bit of surface to a polyester ball, it will grab a little bit?
A little bit. A little. You're not going to see big motion, but you're going to see a little bit because normally the back end of the lane is dry.
Right.
Ooh.
Tapp can't trip the 7-pin.
No, and he almost left a 5. The balls aren't peeling off the back end quite like they did in qualifying. And a little bit of that might be, you know, he's trying to play where he played in qualifying. The lanes have been done so many times.
Right, that line is gone.
That line could be a little bit tighter now. And actually, I talked about that with Kenny Parks earlier. He goes, you think they're going to be tighter? And I go, I think that's going to be tighter, but I think the back ends might be a little bit crisper. You just have to square up to it a little more. And I think that's what Charlie needs to do, is just get a little bit farther right and just square it up even more. I don't know if he surfaced his ball or not a little bit. Going down the lane, it looks a little shiny. He's pretty tickled to death that he picked up the spare.
Yeah, a little cheer to the crowd and a finger point to Kenny Parks, who we'll see a little later. On this PBA60 chameleon pattern, you still have to make your shots and your target, because there is no out of bound. There's no bump out there. This isn't a house shot, a house pattern, or anything like that.
If you get it too far off the ball, believe it or not, guys think, well, there's so much oil out there it didn't come back. Actually, the first couple of boards are so dry that the ball loses energy and it can't make the turn.
Slowed up on that one.
You can tell he's a little bit confused. The other one didn't make it. He tried to do something different. That ball started up immediately. So he probably moved his eyes a little bit left to try to get it up. I still think the better move is to try to tighten everything up. But, you know, down lane, he hit like 6-7 down there, and it's going left at that point.
Took off, yeah. It took off at that point.
So he used the same ball in qualifying, 12 games, and in 12 games of match play. That's kind of doesn't happen. Yeah, that doesn't really happen that much because the lanes go through transition, and he was able to follow the moves with the same ball. I mean, when you got a great look with a bowling ball, you really don't want to get it out of your hand.
Right.
And he was fortunate enough he didn't have to.
Now, though, 6th frame for Mr. Tapp. You may need to be thinking about some other options.
Yeah, because Hugh being the only left-hander we have on the show, the only person that's going to mess up his shot is him, and depending on what he does to it. But he's, like I said, he just kind of slides in, and you never see him coming. And I think Hugh's going to be a force to be reckoned with on this show.
Had a great PBA50 season. I know finished behind Emleto Monticelli in the Northern California Classic. Solid pocket strike for Hugh.
You know,
looked a little confused.
His reaction was, "Yeah, I struck, but that's not where I wanted it."
Yeah, it could have. It was a strike, yes, but it could have been better.
I think he looks a little confused that ball made it all the way back.
Let's see if he makes an adjustment here on the left lane.
The ball he's throwing is a pretty strong ball, so it gets down to the friction on the back end. It should be turning right. Crossing like 8 at the arrows, and actually taking it down to 6-7. He's not really swinging it a whole lot.
Straighter is greater, which we have found out here in Fort Wayne.
Well, straighter is pretty much greater all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Why am I putting so much hand in my ball then?
Because it's fun to watch it hook. And, you know, that's what people, wow, that looks cool. Yeah, but 260, 120 doesn't add up very fast.
Right. When it comes down to money and titles.
Right.
Quickest way there. Charlie Tapp looking to bounce back, 7th frame.
Very traditional 5-step approach. Long swing. He just can't get the ball to face up the right way. He's going to have to do a little trick with his wrist, or he might have to change balls, but with only 3 frames left, he's got to figure something out quickly.
Yeah, really, really quick. As we look at the replay.
Yeah, he's crossing like 6, taking it out to 2-3.
Charlie Tapp, 66 years old, out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Again, 2 PBA regional titles, 1 PBA 50 regional title.
He's deadly on that 7-pin.
No cheer this time. But he knows as things come into focus, reality setting in a little bit.
He missed a 10-pin, then he had a split, and Hugh's filling frames, and it's very important to fill frames. You know, people don't think a frame costs you. And I said I missed by 5 pins. I bowled 12 games. I missed one spare, one spare, and I had 6 splits, and I picked one of them up, and I missed by 5 pins.
Right.
So that one spare in 12 games cost me. And when they think pins don't, spares don't count, they really count.
They do, and it can get away from you quick out here. 1, 2 splits, single pin miss, and Charlie can't get rid of the single pins here.
Charlie's kind of in a fog right now. He just he doesn't have the look that he thought he was going to get.
Right.
That ball, and that happened a lot. The ball in qualifying would go through the pocket, and it just never faced up. You could see it deflecting as it went through, and 10 pins after 10 pins, and a lot of 7-10s.
A few 7-10s, I was going to say, absolutely.
At one point in qualifying, I was standing there was a 7-10 to my right and 3 to my left, and I'm like, I don't want to throw. I'm good.
Charlie picks up his 10-pin.
It was kind of funny. Normally when the lanes dry out, we're always so used to moving left and chasing the oil in. And this pattern, if you actually balled down and stayed right, your carry was better.
Which
if you moved left, you left more 10 pins.
Which again, move right on a pattern like this. What?
Yeah, it caught some people off guard.
You can check out past qualifying matches, match play rounds in the archives here on Xtra Frame. Hugh Miller through the nose.
I think he got confused off the shot off of the left lane, and this one come flying back off of the pattern and almost split on him.
Again, thrown off just a little bit by that.
I'm still amazed watching him
ball.
throw out. I understand how Norm Duke does it because he almost backs it up and rolls it end over end.
Right, he's able to kill.
He's able to really kill the roll, but Hugh's ball is actually rotating in the direction.
Right.
And you would think it would hook more than that, but it's not. So it's working for him.
Hugh Miller out of Seattle, Washington, a 3-time PBA60 Tour titleist. 32 PBA regional titles.
Hugh doesn't bowl as much as we think he should because he's such a great player, but he's got a business back home, and he isn't able to get away as much as he'd like. But when he comes out, he's definitely a threat. That ball was a little tighter. He crossed 10 at the arrows and didn't get it out quite as far, and the ball didn't face up to the pocket. This is all about trying to get the ball higher. I shouldn't say higher. To go through the pins the right way, because actually in this tournament, half pocket hits, light hits, we're striking a lot more than really dead flush hits. And I think we've talked about that before. In some centers, half pocket carries better than flush, and it's just got to be the topography of the lanes and the pin decks. And when you know half pocket's carrying, you got to try to adjust yourself to hit that, which sounds
right. You have something that you'd have to adjust to, because as a bowler, you
want
to be direct.
Right. You want to be, elbow deep into the pocket, but sometimes, see, half pocket.
Half pocket. I was going to say it would look bad, and that ball had to hurry, but a half pocket, it goes.
And that was because I crossed with Darryl Bower, which is going to be on the show here pretty quick, and it was amazing that the amount of half pockets that he threw that just obliterated pins, and we were talking about it through qualifying. It's like we were scared to actually flush the pocket up.
As Charlie takes one of his 2 re-racks, we would like to thank all of our official sponsors like Barbasol, Brunswick, Geico, HotelPlanner.com, the United States Bowling Congress, and our newest partner in GoBowling.com, as we bring more bowling your way.
Charlie actually can strike out and have a chance at this match. He needs these 3. He got that way out there.
Yeah, had to hurry.
And that was less than half pocket. I think he tried to look almost like he tried to adjust to the half pocket, and he got it farther right. That was literally out there 2-1, and it didn't peel back like he was hoping.
You get into your head at this point. You know you still have a chance. Is there a chance for overanalyzing things when you're out there?
A bowler? Overanalyze.
All the time.
I can't even believe you asked me that. How long you been sitting back here?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part of the game is controlling this thing up here.
Controlling your mind, yep, and the mental game.
There's so many guys out here that throw the ball absolutely fantastic. They roll it off their hand, and you wonder why you don't see them more, because sometimes they get in their own way.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing, And I know a lot of these guys out here, they've read books, they went and seen people,
right.
Trying to get their head straight, because it's like, why do we let these weird things that we shouldn't even be thinking about into our head? But it's just the nature.
I know Charlie had worked hard to get out here, taken about 6 weeks to really dial in on his practice. Hooked up with a coach that helped him out a little bit too, and there's another
half pocket, and it tripped out. And we have a winner for the first game, Hugh Miller beating Charlie Tapp. Charlie, I would think, is got to be totally excited at the fact that he made the show, and he hasn't been out here forever. And all the changes that he's made, obviously, are working.
Having some fun with Mr. Miller as he collects his equipment off the rack.
Well, those guys bowled on tour together for such a long time.
Tripped that 7-pin out of there for Hugh. It's nice out here because the 60 tour, it seems like it's more of a reunion every time we make a stop.
Well, it is, because a lot of guys, you can sit at one of the tables and listen to them talk about the old times, the old matches, and when you're a player that never got to experience that because you worked or whatever you did through your bowling career, and you got to come out here, it's fun to sit down with those guys. And Johnny Petraglia has got the best stories in the world. You listen to Johnny, and it's absolutely incredible, the stories about the bowlers and what they've done. And we didn't. Some of us never got to experience that. Winner, Hugh Miller, 222 over Charlie Tapp at 193. So moving on to meet Darryl Bower with a red-hot hand that shot 300 in qualifying.
As the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer continues here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're at Pro Bowl West. Van McNeil alongside Tom Carter. All right, tournament director John Weber getting our second match going here as the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer rolls on here. Pro Bowl West, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Van McNeil alongside Tom Carter.
I would think that Hugh is going to have his hands full in this match. Darryl Bower absolutely labeled the pocket all day in qualifying. Both days, it was 240, 250, 260.
Yeah, looking at...
Because I bowled with him, and he was in qualifying. It was incredible. He had that look, that strike look, every time he threw a shot. And then he shot 300 today in the fifth game of match play. So I'd be a little bit concerned to make sure that I'm really on top of my game bowling against him. He's got such a heavy roll on the ball, just up the back of the ball, and his ball just reads the back end of the lane the right way. It doesn't try to overreact. Hugh's still throwing that code red. It's just coming in so hard. That ball is so aggressive.
And you would think at this point you'd ball down, because it's either you ball down or you pick up the speed in your throw, right? Those are the one of two options.
One of two options. There's another thing going on that just as a coach and things that you see when you see bowlers bowl, Hugh's got a lot of forward body tilt, spine tilt going towards the pins, and that causes the ball to read up a little early. He doesn't get it as clean through the front end of the lane, and that could be a factor also. If his posture was a little more upright, the spine tilt wasn't quite as far forward, he'd get a little bit more skid through the front part.
Everybody has their nuances, their routine and how they bowl. Sometimes it's hard to break that habit as he breaks up the 7-10.
Well, when you bend forward, you tend to make the ball roll early, and it can lose energy down lane.
Right.
And kind of what that one did, he thought it was going to make the turn, and it almost 7-10'd, and he got lucky enough to slap out the 7. Bending forward works out really well. It was kind of old school when we had lots of oil on the lane because you needed the ball to start rolling.
Ooh, goodness.
Early.
Wow.
He's got that look as he turned around like, did that just not make it there?
As we look at the replay, one less coat of paint on that pin. And
well, just goes to show you that there's quite a bit of oil on the lane when you can use a high road to go across lane to pick up a spare, and it about doesn't get there.
Bower, second frame. Stone 10.
That was flush.
Here's the replay, so we can take a look at it. And yep, wasn't the half pocket.
No,
a great shot, great looking shot.
He throws the ball so good. He's got what we would call early timing when you watch his approach. He really gets the ball into the swing immediately and kind of chases it to the line. And he's got such end over end roll and good speed. The ball doesn't ever do anything crazy. I mean, for 12 games, I never seen his ball do something like, oh my God, I need to make a major adjustment, because it just didn't
stay smooth.
It
and
stayed
consistent.
smooth, yeah. Half pocket, struck again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it hung, came in late, half pocket, strike, and that's what goes here. You're absolutely right, Tom.
He got that out. You can see it barely hit, and it slaps out that 4. It's amazing. The head pin goes the sideboard and smacks out that 4 pin, and that's just a characteristic of the house.
Right. It's got to be frustrating though, because like I said, you want that direct pocket hit as a bowler. And Hugh again through the nose.
Hugh's got everything, especially on that right lane, just going right through the face. He's going to either have to move a little bit right and open up the lane a little bit, or he's going to have to ball down if he's going to stay there. That ball is just hooking up way too soon for him.
Looking at Hugh Miller's day today in round 2 of match play. 212, 177, 212, 228, 213. Excuse me, 244, 232, 223, 233, 220, 229 in that position round to take out Edward Silva by a pin.
He was obviously averaged 230 today for the most part, very consistently, but now we have a fresh re-oil. Lanes are a little bit different, and this pair here was a little tricky even in qualifying.
How so?
This house plays different from low end to high end to the middle. The low end is a little tighter.
Okay.
The high end hooks a little more, and the middle, right in front of the counter, hooks a little early.
Huh.
It's just the characteristics of the house, and he had this shot going up high again. He's going to have to make a major adjustment because he just doesn't have a good looker at this point.
Got to get count at least 2. Ooh, almost bounced that out of the pit.
When you're going against Darryl, and you got a guy that is really rolling the ball right up the back of it, and the ball doesn't change direction too hard, and he's just labeled the pocket all day, you better find out something pretty quick.
He's running out of time here already, and we're just in the 4th frame of our second match here.
Another half pocket hit. That's slap. Okay, I'll quit saying it.
Yeah,
but it's a half pocket hit.
Yeah, but it's true. It's 100%.
So bowlers
true.
out there, when you see a half pocket and it tends to be striking, don't let your ego get in your way and try to hit it flush. Just keep hitting half pocket.
Take it for what it's worth.
And yeah, that's just the nature of that pair.
Bowers winning the. Oh boy!
I thought that was going right through the nose, and that was, you couldn't call that flush. That would be high flush.
Yeah. Bower.
He knew that was left off of his hand, and it was really high on the head pin.
Hugh Miller with 9 PBA 50 regional titles. Let's see if he makes his adjustment here, Tom. to the half pocket strike. I usually say solid pocket strike, but I can't say that here today.
I think it's either going to be extremely high or half pocket.
All right, there's no happy medium.
No.
Here. As we celebrate National Bowling Day.
Excuse me?
It is National Bowling Day today.
Awesome. Unfortunately, this is the last day of our PBA 60 and 50 swing this year. We are done until April of next year.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the PBA 50-60 is.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So what's the plan for you, Mr. Carter?
Go home, see a doctor, and figure out why my knee is giving me such a fit.
Okay.
Probably have to have another MRI on it, have it checked out, and hopefully get healthy for the next season. But this was actually a good season for me. I went, I think we had altogether 15 tournaments, and I missed out on 3 of them, not getting a check. So
hey, that's not bad.
Being kind of crippled might have been a good thing this year. I don't know.
Forced you to slow down a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely changed my game as far as the approach and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that early timing.
Yeah.
But he's long swing, heavy roll, half pocket hit.
Oh, it's like, what is he waiting for? He's waiting to say a half pocket strike. Yeah, you're right.
What's amazing, he has struck everywhere from 10, 11 when he pulled that one shot and got the other one out to like 4 or 5. So he's got like 6 boards to hit to strike.
Right.
When you have that, you could win.
That's Bower.
Strike, spare, 5-bagger, and Hugh has got to be feeling the pressure that if he doesn't throw some strikes here, it's just going to be a great tournament.
slipping away here for Mr. Miller. Again, a gentleman who thought he wouldn't be bowling as much as he was going to this season.
Well, and every time he's come out, he's performed. He's always been a force to be reckoned with.
That's the thing. Yeah, he always delivers.
Yeah, he's got such a simple game. He's a little straighter for a left-hander. You see some guys that like to hook it, but him and Parker are straighter on the left side. And this season, they've both performed extraordinarily well.
Oh, goodness.
That just might have shut the door on him, unfortunately. Solid 8.
When you get a solid 8, a solid 9, something like that, you can't shrug at it. It was a great throw, a great ball.
Right.
How do you make that adjustment?
Well, you either got to move a little bit right so the ball doesn't drive as hard. You got to take a little hand out of it. There's several different things you can do. Obviously, you can throw the ball harder so it can't get down the lane. It gets down the lane a little quicker so it doesn't have as much time to pick up friction to go to the right for him.
I've also heard a half step up or a half step back, lengthen your approach or shorten your approach a little bit, adjust accordingly.
You know, I've seen guys and they talk about that, and that's kind of an old school type thing, moving up, moving back. But we've filmed people, and if they move back a half foot, they end up in the same spot because visually the lane looks different.
Oh.
And you're so used to seeing the lane at a certain way, you stretch out your stride to end up where you're at.
Where you finish.
So if you move up a step, you end up taking shorter steps because you think you're too close to the foul line because visually it looks different.
Okay.
And you end up in the same spot. It might change your ball reaction a little bit, but as far as where you're ending up at the line,
it's near the same place where you would anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally moving left or right changes your angles more than moving up and back.
Bower up the first arrow. Again, a half pocket strike, but that's what's going here at Pro Bowl West.
He's a smart enough player that he's not going to try to flush it up.
Right.
He's just going to stay right there. Why change something that's working? You know.
Hugh Miller throws him around the rack there.
Well, Hugh could strike out for a possible 203, but we got a little tough when you got a 280 being shot at you.
Save face. You put your best foot forward. You're on the extra frame step ladder here. So
He made it. The biggest thing about any tournament is making it to the show and just giving yourself a chance to win. If you never get to the show, you can never win.
Right.
You know.
And there's one that Hugh likes.
Unfortunately, a little late.
Yep. Hands up in the air immediately. He knew.
His break point's a little bit different down lane. He's getting it a little bit tighter. He's not giving the ball quite as much room. That was farther left. Down lane. He got that out to about 7, and unfortunately rings a 7. And Hughes' PBA 50-60 career, unfortunately, is coming to an end today by Darryl Bower.
For this season.
Yeah, for this season.
For this season.
We got another season starting up sometime in April. So April through August, we get to travel literally all over the country, which is awesome.
So do you you sit still for a week or two, or
no? I go.
No?
Actually, I'll be home tonight, working in the pro shop tomorrow, and when I'm home, pro shop's open 7 days a week.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm there 7 days a week.
No rest.
And just get ready to come back out again.
There you go. Check out what the doctor has to say, and
yeah, he'll tell me to stay off my feet, but then that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's because you don't listen.
I don't listen. Ask my wife.
192 for Mr. Miller, and we'll see if Darryl goes off the sheet here.
He's just coasting right now, throwing, going. He's got a great look. He knows he's got a great look. He's going to shoot. Knock on wood. He strikes out. He shoots 280.
Yeah.
But he's got a pretty fierce opponent coming up in Kenny Parks.
Absolutely.
Kenny Parks is he's a grinder. I mean, he literally a grinder. He always figures out a way to get to the pocket. At 6'8", probably one of the smoothest deliveries you'll ever see. A very beautiful 280 game by Darryl Bower.
So Kenny Parks, Hammond, Indiana's very own, up next here as the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer continues here. Pro Bowl West, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Tournament Director John Weber setting it up for us here. Van McNeil alongside Tom Carter. The PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer continues. Our semifinal match.
What do you think?
I don't know here. Kenny has had the hot hand.
Like I said earlier, he's a grinder. He's been bowling fantastic, but watching his last couple of warm-up shots, he can hit the pocket. It's just now of getting out the 10. Or the 9.
A different look out here versus what we saw in match play and qualifying.
Yeah, I had mentioned to you off camera that he's got such a soft hand and slow roll, and Darryl's been throwing it a little bit firmer. Kenny might have figured something out just in those last few seconds, and that was a lot firmer than he was throwing his practice shots.
Darryl Bower.
Almost 4-9'd.
I was going to say half pocket that didn't go, but that wasn't a true half.
This is, he's been standing around for a couple minutes now. I don't think he took any practice shots to stay warm. So that could have been just a hair slower than normal. The ball just checked up. Nothing to worry about too early considering he shot 280.
But something as simple as a break can get you cold and out of your rhythm. And
oh, boy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You take a break. Sometimes when we're going from pair to pair, and if the previous pair or the pair you're going to had a breakdown and you got to wait 5-6 minutes because you're done and they're only in the 6th frame, your first shots are
little cold.
Maybe not for the kids tour,
but
for the PBA 50-60 tour. Yeah.
Got to stay loose. You got to stay.
And you'll see the guys, if that happens, they're walking around because the knees and the elbows and the shoulders out here get a little stiff.
Yeah, we had a few withdrawals here during our time in Fort Wayne.
Well, the center, Dave Small, does such a great job here that it's incredible. everybody here is awesome. The approaches, we've always had problems with the approaches at some centers in the past, and the approaches weren't really a factor here. And we're always a little scared when you walk into a center and you see synthetic lanes. You like that, but then you see synthetic approach and you go, oh, no, my knees. That's the first thing you think of. And today, or this whole swing, we've been here almost 10 days, no problems whatsoever. Yeah, because we had the PBA60, we had a regional in between, and now the PBA60. There was a lot of bowling this week.
That's how we wrap up our senior festivities here with the Professional Bowlers Association.
Kenny's so methodical and soft. He's just got that nice rhythm to the line. He's just, for a big guy, 6'8", he's got that left hand that gets out there. He's almost looks like a dance to him going to the line. His
best finish this tour season, second in the Race City Open, losing to Norm Duke in the title match, 221-213. So Kenny looking for some redemption here.
Yeah, Kenny's throwing a radical cash. It was kind of funny in that match. We drilled that ball up for him for the TV show, and he never even got to use it. But that's the only ball he's used this whole tournament. We drilled it up. I can't say different, but for an asymmetrical ball, it had a real short pin. But we still put the pin above the fingers, and we drilled the fingers a little deeper to take out that extra weight, and we put the mass right in his thumb just to make the ball, for him, because he's so up the back of it, just really rolly and smooth.
Right, but that's not his normal layout.
No, he normally uses different things. He normally has masses kicked out, so the ball transitions a little harder. But on this pattern, you really didn't need the ball to change direction hard. You just needed to get it to the pocket.
Right.
And on
if it was too hard, then
it left pins.
Yeah.
And on this pattern, is worked phenomenal for him.
Looks good. Again, another 10-pin.
You see Kenny walk. He's always looking at his hand just as he walks back, like he might have done something different with his hand. And he's got a span. I don't know if you've ever picked up one of his bowling balls or not, but it's like a 6-inch span. You can barely get to thumb and fingers and pick it up.
Tall drink of water, 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
I know I have a huge head. He could palm my head. He could pick me up from my head.
And Kenny's such just a mellow guy. But, he's so methodical. He does take, for some of us, quite a bit of time on the approach, getting set up.
Yeah.
He's a field player, and there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of the guys out here are field players, but he's got to get his hand just right. And he's got that little bounce to set up.
Right.
And it's all a routine, and it's about repeating the routine every time.
You see it in Bower here. A little quicker off the approach.
Yeah, Darryl doesn't take much time. Once that ball drops down, because he holds it low, and from that point where he holds it, it never hardly goes forward. It just goes straight back into a swing, and he runs by it, clear to the line.
Oh, boy. Tripped out the 7 and tripped out the 10.
He walked in front of my picture there, but it looked like a 7-10, and he turns around and it's gone.
Yeah, we'll see it here for sure in the replay as
that ball just come flying off the friction. Now, he's been playing closer to the marker down lane around right at 10, and that was a little bit to the right of it, say 7-8. And when the ball changed direction, it changed direction hard.
As a bowler, and for some of our Xtra Frame subscribers, you're looking down lane. You could look at a few different places for a target. What would be most traditional? The arrows or those back? Well,
actually, we look at a couple of things. You want to look at your break point, which is the target down lane.
Okay.
And then you draw an imaginary line from that target, that break point, across the target that you're going to cross.
Right.
And you want to throw the ball from point A to point B. When it gets to that break point, it's going to migrate. And what happens, the lane normally dries out in the front, so you transition to the left. So you just keep drawing that line to the left. You're still going to the same break point, but you're moving to the left, so that piece of pie just keeps getting
smaller and smaller.
No, actually wider and wider.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right. For the most part, on most patterns, the break point doesn't change a whole lot. But when the hard part about patterns is if you've only got, say, two boards to your break point, to a pattern that, like Darryl had the first match where he's got like 5 or 6 to hit down there, different boards. If you got 5 boards at your break point, you better score a lot.
And you're good. You should be having some high
big
scores.
numbers.
Yeah.
If you only got 2 boards at your break point, and that's where people get a little confused sometimes. Half pocket. They they hit their target at the arrows, but they miss the break point. And they go, how come that didn't strike?
Right.
Because they never got it to the spot down lane. Crossing your target at the arrows is important, but it is really important to get to your break point.
That's what you got to look for. Good to know. A nice little tip, Tom. Thank you.
There's a new coaching device out called Torch that I've seen, and it basically lines up point A to point B to your break point to teach people how to get there. I have actually used ribbon. I've taken some ribbon and put it on taped it at the foul line, and took it to the break point and say, I need you to throw the ball on this line the best that they can,
right.
you know. And actually I've made a tube. Just keep the ball in the tube to get to your break point.
And it works.
Yeah. Sometimes people don't see it. They need a visual, you know.
Right, I suppose. You don't have the luxury of those visuals out here.
No.
And it's like I don't want to say that's, taking the fun out of tormenting yourself, but we didn't have those tools back in the day, and that's not going to go.
Wow.
Man, that 6-pin, you reached up and slapped that 10, but just not hard enough to knock it down.
As we look at the replay.
Kenny's walking it out. That 6 hits the base of that 10, and what's it, 6.5 degrees? It must have got 6 1/4. It didn't get enough to get all the way over. Should have made it easier to pick up. I think it nudged it to the left.
Just a little bit. Still pick up your spares.
You know, I've had people ask me, we're talking about break points. They go, well, what if we don't have this? This is pro anviline that we're bowling on with the markers down lane.
Right.
What if we don't have markers down lane?
Then what do you do? Yeah.
See the reflection of the pins?
Okay, yeah.
Onto the lane?
Right at about 40 feet or so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use the head of the reflection of the pins, like the head of the 6 pin.
Oh.
Which would be right now where he's standing, be like on the 8 board down lane. It gives you something to look at to target with down lane. Use the reflection of the pins.
Another nice little tip. Thank you, Tom. Right up second arrow.
8 at the break point, strike, and he strikes spare 4-bagger. He's not missing a trick. Kenny's got to figure something out here pretty quick, and normally Kenny does. He'll grind something out.
Right. Starting to slip away. That even looked high flush, but still went.
The biggest thing that we got going on right now, I think, is that Darryl has a firmer ball speed going down the lane than Kenny and the other players. He's more online, and it's just a heavy end-over-end roll.
Right. Where
some of the players are letting their hand get around the ball, which makes it want to change direction as soon as they hit friction. His is just rolling off the pattern.
Let's see if Kenny makes the adjustment here. 6th frame, semifinal match. And trip out the 10, but he still doesn't look happy.
No, because he wanted that strike in the 5th, that wiggle 10. And you look at Kenny's follow through his hand just right up, actually at his forehead. He's right up the back of the ball, and he does it so gracefully. He literally posts every shot. He's on balance. Just a great player and a grinder. It seems like sometimes, too, the tougher the pattern, the better he bowls, too.
2008 USBC Senior Masters champion. 12 PBA60 regional tour titles. There we go.
That ball was definitely 10-11 at the break point, just set right up. And if you watch his ball, it never changes direction hard. It just sets up.
No, as we look in the replay here, dials right in. Not a lot of movement.
Yeah, it looks like, he's setting the ball around 6-7 at the arrows, and it's at 10 at the break point, so he's actually going at the pocket. He's
more direct at the pocket.
Yeah, he's more direct.
More direct, more speed. Bower.
That could be trouble.
Oh, boy.
Because he was right at the arrows. He's normally been crossing closer to the second arrow, and he was right at the second arrow, and that ball just kind of checked up as soon as it hit the lane. See it going left right there at the right there where the letters are on the reflection.
Yeah, right
his ball was going left already. And it's so easy to see, like when we're out there helping people. Standing back, you can see so much.
Right.
Where a lot of times the guys at the foul line, they miss it, and they're like, what happened?
For our Xtra Frame subscribers that are league bowlers, semi-professionals, good to get another set of eyes.
Always
to watch you while you bowl.
Get an iPad, a phone. Phones have great video. Have somebody film you, because a lot of times what you think you're doing, and when you see it on film, go, ooh, I didn't think I was doing that.
Right. Where did that come from?
I thought my golf swing was pretty decent until I seen it on film.
And me too with my bowling swing.
It looks like I'm having a seizure. It's terrible.
Bower with a solid pocket strike.
He's not backing off at all.
Pedal to the metal for sure. Little
long follow through.
Yeah, made an adjustment. He threw it 6-7 there.
And we said earlier, it's tough to move left on this pattern with the oil and the way it's set up. If you can keep great speed and stay right, your chances of carry are better. Once you start kind of looping the pattern, in which you want to do, because, oh, man, it's dry over there, I'll just move left and send it to the right and watch it come back. It comes back, but just don't strike.
Well, here in a Stepladder final, too, and not breaking down like we saw in qualifying and match play, but no.
Kenny's going to figure something out.
Yeah, no worry for Kenny. Like you said, he's one of those guys that'll make the adjustment and find a way.
He's got a possible 249. He is not going out without a fight.
Had a great 50/60 season.
He's always competitive. I don't care if we bowl regionals, we bowl nationals, we bowl in the parking lot. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
He finds a way. He's got a great, and we said earlier, it's about this up here. He's got a great mental game.
Which is, as I'm around bowling more and more, the mental game, you have to be on point there.
He threw that really well, and he walked it out. He thought it was there. That could have been the clincher right there. It depends on what Darryl does. But beautiful shot, 8. A little bit right of the marker down lane. He wasn't right on top of it like the shot before. And unfortunately, just a weak 10. The mental game is huge.
Yeah, if you get into a bad attitude out here and upset about some bad throws, that can get you into the hole a lot quicker than just missing spares.
Well, there's just, so many things. We, out here on the tour, we have the double jump rule where we actually get 2 pair to either side of us, which you don't do in league.
Right.
You get 1 lane courtesy.
Yep.
We've actually got pairs. So if you're on the left lane on 41, nobody's on 42. Obviously, that's your pair. Nobody will be on 43, 44, and we've got nobody on 39 and 40. So you got every opportunity to make a quality shot.
Decent.
So
shot.
It's up to you to make the shot, and the only thing that gets in your way is your mind. Every now and then we'll get somebody get excited and scream right in the middle of your approach.
Right, in your backswing.
Yeah.
But comes with the territory, not necessarily that it's right or anything. But
that one was high flush. So Darryl's basically got 2 kinds of shots that strike for him. High flush or half pocket.
Half pocket. 10th frame for Bower and through.
That was way left off of his hand. Wow.
So this changes things here a little bit.
I think Darryl's still got 230 plus in the bag, and Kenny can only shoot 228.
So count.
No, he doesn't have 230. I added that wrong. 1925.
Okay.
230. I said 230, right? Yeah. 234. Kenny can only shoot 224.
That's a winner for Mr. Bower.
My math was right the first time. I'm doubting myself. See what happens when you're a bowler, you're on the lane, you start doubting yourself,
right,
you mess up.
Oh, that's right. Bowlers don't overanalyze anything.
No,
I forgot.
Not at all.
And Kenny will be analyzing
Kenny,
what happened here today.
A little disappointed. He threw it great, just didn't get rewarded. And that's the part that wears on you more than anything else, is when you throw it really good and it doesn't seem like you get rewarded for what you've done. But you got to remember those times that maybe you threw one Brooklyn or you missed the pocket totally and the pins fell backwards and still struck. And I think it all evens out, but in the moment, you just think that everything's going against you.
Right. And all right. 234 to 206. Darryl Bower advances to the championship match to take on the newbie.
The newbie, Dave Axon, that is definitely hungry. He's looking for his first PBA60 title and his only PBA60 title, but he's really wanting this. And we got two different styles to talk about this next match.
All right, so it'll be Bower versus Axon as the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer continues here at Pro Bowl West in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Time for the championship match here at Dave Small's Pro Bowl West in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's the PBA60 Dick Weber Championship presented by Hammer. Van McNeil alongside Tom Carter.
Our final match of the entire PBA 50-60 season.
What started in Florida?
Started in Florida April 14th and ending up today with one unique match. A guy that is hungry, Dave Axon.
Dave Axon out of Bellevue, Nebraska, going for his first national title. And here we go.
He is, if you watch his demeanor, he's just always smiling, like and laughing, happy-go-lucky guy. I know he's nervous as all get out, but he's kind of a total different role on the ball. He's going to be playing the lanes a little bit tighter. He's throwing a phase 2 that he's thrown all week long. Pin above the bridge. CG just underneath, just a stacked, simple drilling that doesn't do a whole lot. Darryl is throwing a track cyborg, and that's what he shot 300 with. But everybody uses different balls. Darryl's not on anybody's staff. He qualified in 12 games using a Deviate Grudge Pearl that just wrecked him. Dave shot 279 in the final position round match to take the lead in this tournament.
And that was here on this pair, Tom. So.
Oh, so he's feeling very comfortable.
Yeah, he's comfortable on.
He's comfortable.
41 and 42 here for sure.
You're going to see the releases they look like they're playing the same part of the lane, but the releases are different. Darryl more up the back of the ball. We've always given Axon just a little grief. Some of the guys call him a spin biscuit because he gets around the side of the ball a little bit.
Right.
But, you know, that's your game. And what that little spin does, the way that ball gets down the lane like he's doing, it doesn't read the front part of the lane near as quick. Tom Baker's great at it because we've always called him a little spin biscuit. His ball never reads the front part of the lane, but it does read the back end.
And that one needed to hurry as we look at the replays. It goes through the nose.
Well, he's got to get in control of his nerves, I think, more than anything else right now, because he wants this title really bad. He knows Darryl has been bowling fantastic. He doesn't have a whole lot of room to make mistakes. Throwing that blue urethane hammer for his spare shot, where you see Darryl, he hasn't shot many spares, but he's still using the same ball for his spares.
Looking at David Axon's day here today, and match play round 2 opened with a 290, 256, 216, 247, 278, and then a 279 on this pair.
So he averaged 250 for the day plus. Not a bad day in match play.
Not at all. Taking out Jabzinski, Blatchford, Johnson, McCordick, McLean, and Tapp. It's a good day.
Well, he's definitely got the left lane locked in. I think he gets his nerves in check. I think he just got a little quick in the second frame. Ball's going through the pins beautifully. Dave's been always a good competitor out here on regionals and in the nationals. I believe he finished 5th at the Masters a couple years back.
1985 True Value Open. He won that, his lone PBA Tour title. Tripping that 10 out.
Darryl's almost looks like he's on cruise control. That's not a bad way to be.
No. Leave the man alone and watch him work his magic.
That was.
Uh-huh.
That is it. Half pocket.
But if it goes, he said, check your ego at the door. And
right.
accept it for what it's worth.
When it's working, it's working. He was such a treat to bowl with. We probably didn't say literally 15 words to each other in 12 games, but it was just the nods that, like, good shot.
Yeah, that's good to be on. Just have that community.
Oh.
Well, tripped out the 7. Messenger couldn't take care of the 10. It's good to know that you're on the same wavelength against a competitor and a friend out here.
Yeah, it was before he started it. He came up and he goes, "You did get a check, right?" I go, "Yeah, I got a check." And he goes, "Good." And I was like, "It's nice when the other guys are rooting for you too." You know?
Yeah. Well, it's we're
like
community.
a big senior traveling league.
Yeah. We're against each other, but we're for each other at the same time.
Exactly. I think everybody enjoys being around everybody else, but when we step up on that approach, it's about it's about you at that point in time and throwing good shots, and obviously everybody out here wants to win. Right. But when the tournament's over, like out in the motorhomes, it's like 20 people out there.
It's a different.
It's a whole different scenario.
Axon.
Wow, he got that a lot farther right at the break point than anybody's playing down lane, and that just came back and destroyed pins.
So you look at the replay.
Yeah, he got that out to
right there.
He got that out to 4-5 down lane.
Surprised that came back the way it
did. And it just that was flush, which might be the only flush shot that we've seen.
Well, Dave on the younger end of the 60 side at 61 years old.
Darryl was kind of hoping for a little help there, I think. A little shoulder nudge there. Ball come in a little light, tripped out the 5. He's down to 8 at the break point. Now that is.
Yeah, it looks great. It looked like a half pocket.
A little half pocket, but now nothing took out the 5, and then obviously nothing took out the 7. But the pins could have been a little off spot, but he's pretty good at it. He re-racked it about 4 or 5 times during qualifying, so he's pretty sharp at watching to make sure the pins are on spot.
Bauer has 10 regional titles, 4 PBA60 regional titles, and his best finish this season, 19th in the South Shore Open a few weeks ago.
Well, we definitely got a good solid match going on. The guys both playing pretty much the same kind of line, just got 2 different roles going on. Both of them throwing basically the same layouts, just different companies. So obviously that particular layout is the layout that is working. Pin above the bridge, CG either stacked or kicked out just very little with no hole. And Darryl just opened the door for Dave Axon.
4, 6, 7 split, and
that ball just came off the pattern way too hard. He looks like he started it up a little bit, and
it's a little too much hand or a less ball speed.
It could have been less ball speed, but it just looked like he got it farther right early. And there's enough friction. If you get it right early, it's going to go left quick. Because there's plenty of oil in the middle. The problem with moving left like we want to, everybody that moved left, you got to the pocket, but you just pinged 10s all day long. The ball just wouldn't come off.
And what you had said earlier, the move would be untraditional to move
right.
It'd
traditional to move, left, and untraditional to move right.
Right.
But the guys that have the ability to throw a little harder or ball down stayed right, stayed firm with it, and the carry was incredible. And then I think Darryl might amp up the next one a little bit.
We'll see if David Axon steps on the gas here, takes advantage.
He was, I don't think he was too sure about that one when he came off his hand. He's got a very traditional 5-step approach, just simple movements. He step with the left, drops it right into the swing.
Maybe a little off balance on that shot as we see him bounce around at the foul line. I don't know if that's his traditional.
He's pretty animated.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that, you know, if he gets something going, you might hear a oh,
okay, yeah.
at the foul line, you know, like, what was that? Yeah. Sometimes he gets a little animated. There's nothing wrong with that. He has a great time out here.
Bowling is fun.
Oh.
Except for when you
leave
wrap
10
a 10 pin. Yep.
Those will make your hair gray. So, Dave, part of our U.S. military force.
Yes, he is retired.
Retired Air Force. Now he has a chance to come out and bowl. We have so many bowlers across the country that, unfortunately, you know, have worked their entire life, and we get to see, actually get to see so much great talent.
Right.
At 50 years old, come out, people you never seen before because they never had a chance to go out on tour. They just couldn't do that. They had families and jobs, and you see some guys come out like, who's this guy? You know, man, does he throw it good?
You can find out more at PBA.com. How you can get involved here and what requirements are needed.
Darryl back in the saddle.
Yeah. Well, quick after a split open.
We definitely have a match. Now it's just a matter of who performs the last 3 frames.
And we take a re-rack here.
I did mention that he did take a few re-racks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He said he had a keen eye for.
He's got a pretty keen eye for his pins being on spot.
Or is that more for yourself to?
It can be both.
Get a beat, maybe ice your competitor a little bit. Not that that should affect.
It shouldn't affect him, but a lot of times we do see pins off spot. It just happens. I mean, it's a mechanical machine. And things can happen, you know.
Right.
But it can be if you're bowling a competitor that likes to just get up and bowl, and you know he's a fast player. If you take a re-rack and slow that tempo down, that kind of gets into his that mental part of the game.
Yeah,
you know?
the mental part.
You know, they don't like it, but you know that's why we have time limits of so much time you have to make a shot.
Sure.
That was a very firm shot. He was, that line was a little bit different. That was like 11, 12, I think, at the arrows to the mark.
With a little bit more speed.
Yeah.
We'll see it in the replay here.
Yeah, he was, definitely 11, 12 out to 8, 9 down lane.
Just didn't have a chance to grab it all. Just kept on skidding right by the pocket.
Well, that's the bad thing about that kind of a spin biscuit. If there's a lot of oil on the lane, that ball can just kind of hydroplane in the front part of the lane too quick. And if it doesn't see friction, it's not going to make that move. But when the lanes turn into dirt, oh, my God.
Then you got something.
Oh, those guys are hard to beat because their ball never reads the front. You know, guys like, that make you mad? No, it just makes me jealous.
Yeah,
because I can't do it.
You can't do it, right. Axon going for his first national title here. Oh, boy. High flush, and it went.
He's got that left lane pretty much wired. Unfortunately, he's got to end on the right lane.
Yeah, he knew he got a break in
so
this
he
one.
got that one back out to, like, 5 down lane again.
Yeah.
That shot that was, and it came up even a little strong, but that high flush, we have 2 shots here that really carry, high flush and half pocket. Darryl going for a 3-bagger.
9th frame.
He nails this one.
Oh.
Ooh. Now we've got some serious stuff going on right here.
One more look. And Darryl's throw.
He's not too animated, is he?
No.
He's just calm, cool, and collected.
Stay even keel out there.
That was the look I seen for 12 games.
If you can be calm, cool, and collected throughout, all the better.
Uh-oh. This could be high.
Ooh.
That just put the nail in the coffin.
Let's look at it one more time.
That just was, I thought, a little right too quick. But
yeah.
The right speed, the ball held. Like I said, he's so up the back of the ball doesn't change directions hardly at all. That beautiful shot. Throws the last 6 to get a title.
That's a pretty good day.
Good day. Tough break for Dave Axon. He threw the ball great. I mean, all he's got, that second frame kind of caught him a little bit, that 8 count, but all 9 spares. Any of those could have gone, and it could have been a huge game. Dave will be back in the title match again someday because he's just a great competitor.
Absolutely. His best finish this year, 31st in the PBA60 Players Championship. He's got 3 regional titles, PBA50 regional titles, and then his best PBA Tour finishes, 4th in 2011 in the Senior Decatur Open, 5th in 2013 at the USBC Masters, and then great finish here as he
second at the Dave Small.
Yeah, which isn't bad. So
it's a good tournament.
Tom, a pleasure as
it's
always.
Been
fun. A great season to hang out
with you. Look forward to
you.
seeing you next year.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to go talk to Mr. Bower and wrap up this telecast. Live on Xtra Frame, alongside our PBA60 Dick Weber Championship champion, Mr. Darryl Bower. Congratulations, Darryl.
Thank you, Van. Yep.
So let's talk about the week out here because you were bowling buckets out here. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. I came in, my wrist was a little sore, but it seemed to hold up throughout the week. I was able to play a lot straighter and softer than what I normally do, so that helped my wrist throughout the week.
Taking on this newbie in David Axon, that had to be a little troubling at first.
It was. I know Dave was bowling great. I watched him bowl the last set where he was really hot and bowling really well. So it's a matter of carry. I got the brakes on the carry, and he kept leaving the 10-pin.
Feels good to win again. I don't want to bring up old memories, 1985 and the True Value Open. Now we fast forward a few decades and still going strong.
Yeah, only 32 years. So
So we wrap up the season here. I got to ask, what's next for you? What's going to happen in the off season, and will you be coming back for 2018?
Yeah, I hope to come back. I appreciate what Dave does for the PBA and what a great host he is, and the staff here, Brian and the rest of the staff. So, yeah, I'm at least going to bowl in the East. I don't bowl that much in the West, but I do appreciate what Dave does for the PBA, everything he does.
Maybe some well-deserved time off now. What's the plans next?
Right, now I can rest.